Remember, if you don't have problems, you're not reaching even close to reaching your full potential. You are doing a cookie cutter, halfway job and avoiding any kind of growth. All right, my friends, the Ultimate OD Podcast, we have an amazing episode for you today. Now, realize we are also on YouTube. Yes, YouTube has a podcast thing or videos. I don't know, but I'm there. You want to see my smiling face? Tune in. Spotify, I hear. Video, check me out. We are talking about the problems in our business, and I'm going to tell you why they're a good thing. A little office talk. One number, one little metric to make your office better. And then closing thought of the episode, this is the Ultimate OD Podcast. Here we go. All right, my friends, the Ultimate OD Podcast. I'm excited for the episode tonight. Before I get into that, I just want to further emphasize that collaboration is key to being the absolute best. The wisdom of many allows us to be great. Charlie Munger, very famed investor, as we know, Warren Buffett's right-hand man, says that he loves reading biographies and gaining wisdom from others' experiences. He has a whole list you can search on, Twitter, YouTube, go down that path. Tons of biographies that he recommends that you read. That's the same thing I'm trying to create with the Ultimate OD, with the community that we're going to have and are growing. I also want to have the Ultimate OD, mastermind group. I already have got a lot of interest from people coming in. It's going to fill up quickly because we're going to limit to about 3 to 5 people for the first one. Send me your information that you're interested, and then we'll start setting up a time. Again, midsummer is what I'm hoping, but the more interest that I get, the more of these I can plan out. And whether in the first wave, second, third, we will have a mastermind group. We're going to do it over like a Zoom call. I'll be able to lead a discussion. I can give a presentation if needed, but I want it to be more of a collective gathering of minds, all private practice owners trying to be better. Now, that being said, please like the YouTube page. We now have a YouTube podcast, so we're going to have the podcast on Apple, Spotify, anywhere you get your podcasts at, but we will have a YouTube channel as well. So if you want to see my smiling face, tune in and we'll go from there. Same content with the YouTube. There will be some visual effects, might be more stimulating for you, might be easier for you to watch. Figure out whatever avenue you need to get the information you have to be the best doctor that you want to be. So that being said, today's podcast is interesting. It's going to be a different perspective. It's going to be something that I hope opens your eyes. And your office has problems, and that's a good thing. Yes, it is a good thing. We think these problems are the bane of our existence, what keeps us up at night, why people hate private practice. So let's call a spade a spade. Private practice is hard. We have to be clinically sound. We need to deal with patients, medical insurance, deal with customers. So there's patients and there's customers. You know this if you're in private practice. They treat you 2 separate ways. All right? Patients will listen to your advice. They see you as knowledgeable. They want the information you're giving them. Customers, complete mind shift. They have all the power. They want deals. They want warranties. They want to be able to bring stuff back if they're not happy. Think about the world that we live in. Amazon, Costco, all these other places that are programming not only our patients, our customers, but us. Think about how we act. We want something from Amazon. We'll get it. If it doesn't work, we'll just send it right back. I go to True Value down the road. I get a piece of hardware. Doesn't work. Bring it back. Right? Anything wrong with it? No, just didn't want it. Deal, they take it back. Can you do that with a medical device like glasses? No. Can you do that with contact lenses after they've opened them? No. But this is the world that we live in. They do see those things as a commodity. Difficult. All right? Vision insurance. Don't get me started. I've just been down this rabbit hole as of late of offices that have eliminated vision insurances in their office. And yes, I want me some of that. I don't have the guts to pull the trigger yet. We have staff issues. Okay, staff. We think we're going to have this great team that's going to come in and see our vision and work their butts off, love the office as much as we do, love the patients as much as we do, and give a great quality product. Well, their cars don't start, their kids get sick, they don't agree with change, they like the way they are doing things, they don't see the bottom line of things, they just, hey, I'll get this, or they go through paper, all these things, they're stealing paper clips from us, I don't know. Vendors, oh my goodness, vendors are frame reps. Frame reps are our best friends, right? They are there to help us out, or they don't show up for meetings. When you need a frame, they can't get it. It's one of those things. How are you going to figure all this out? This is awful. Why would anyone ever go into private practice? Why would you want this? Well, there's a lot of big things, a lot of good things. We'll get to that here. But I wanted to put those problems out there. And now I want you to think about, how are you going to deal with this? How are you going to figure it all out? Two options, right? Either you burn yourself out by going to the office 24/7, constantly dealing with all these headaches, putting out fires, or, you have a work-life balance, you go home, and you just have a crappy office. It's that simple, right? You have two options. None of them are good. Wrong. All right? Let me lay this out for you. Not a single business, not a single one. You name a business, Best Buy, Costco, Amazon, the gas station down the road, True Value, your Home Depots of the world. None of them are perfect. Not a single one. The cost of doing business is problems, headaches. That's what happens. That's normal. That's a good thing. Okay? In my early days, I tried to micromanage everything. I tried to give everyone exactly what they wanted. I was so excited to have a patient walk into my office that whatever they needed, I was going to cater to them. I'll take that back. I'll return this. Oh, there's an issue with Mrs. Jones. Let me talk to Mrs. Jones. I wanted to put out every fire, and you know what happened? I was a lot less happy, a lot less satisfaction in what I was doing. I got so caught up in the day-to-day operations that my clinical skills started to plummet. All right? That doesn't seem like the right answer. That can't be a good thing. Well, it's not. There's a reason. There's the problems that are big, and there's the problems of doing business. I listed all those things that we listed at the beginning are problems of doing business. Every single office is dealing with some variation of those things. Okay? In all eye care, those are probably universal. But do you think that Home Depot has to deal with customers? Yes. Do they have to deal with insurances? No, but they have to deal with manufacturers. Manufacturer warranties, rebates. They have vendors. Okay? They have staff that they have to deal with. Look at around at the restaurants, fast food places, you name a business, they're dealing with these issues. It's universal, right? Okay. Makes you feel good that misery loves company, but you have to accept that these problems are always going to be here. They're never going to go away. So now that we've accepted that they're here, that these are the costs of doing business, how can you have a successful business? How can you be happy and enjoy what you do? Well, guess what? First, remember, if you don't have problems, you're not reaching even close to reaching your full potential. You are doing a cookie cutter, halfway job and avoiding any kind of growth. Okay? We want to grow, we want to expand, we want to be ultimate ODs, right? So realize, embrace the problems. Have you ever heard the phrase, I say this all the time to patients when I have to refer to retina or corneal specialist or cataract surgeon, that's above my pay grade. All right. Well, how about the term, that's below my pay grade, right? This is something that I'm not going to deal with. Know how you operate in that sense? You create systems, right? Systems are going to allow you to focus on what matters. They're going to allow you to scale. They're going to give power to your staff. You want happy staff that are going to stay. They need to be empowered to make a change, to make a difference, to do what we need them to do. Okay? So, you need to develop people. You need to develop culture. Manage the direction of your ship. All right? have that vision, that 30,000 foot view, and every now and then zoom in. Go to 3,000 feet and get your staff, your managers in place. Help guide them how they deal with problems, how they deal with situations. Set the culture. We're a culture of if someone comes in, we're going to take care of them. All right? If they're a patient of ours, they will be taken care of. I always refer to Costco. Costco is amazing. I'll buy something from Costco, and I'll always feel good, warm, and happy inside because even if I don't have my receipt, I know if I open it up, I use it. If there's a problem, they'll take care of me. That's the mentality I want my patients to have when they come into my office. Okay? That's what I'm telling my staff. They know that their job is to make the patient happy. All right. Now, how do they do that? If it's under $200, you do whatever you need to do, make it go away. All right? So they have power of that. Now, if it's a little above that, everyone's a little different, but they know what they need to do to solve a problem. What does this do for you as the owner? Well, you're still going to have the problems, but because you've delegated them, less of those are going to make it on the way to your desk, right? You can focus on the things that matter. For example, this Monday, it was a crazy, awesome day in clinic. I loved it. So, saw about 30 patients, yes, in my private practice, 1 doctor, 6 full-time staff, 30 patients. I had 7 or 8 red eyes that called in that day. Papilledema, rhinoschisis, styes, you name it. I had stuff coming in from all over. My staff was calling, putting people on the schedule. They knew what they had to do. I was able to go through the day and, mind you, just random thought, the roof was leaking. It was raining. Ceiling's crashing down on me, but we are surviving, right? I'm seeing patients. I'm doing what I need to do as a clinician. They are running the day-to-day business. They're taking care of problems of scratched lenses, warranties, people having adjustments, everything that, those headaches of business, they took care of them. Just the day-to-day went so smoothly because over the past 12 years, we've come up with these systems in place. In addition, I was able to just see patients do what I love. I sit back now when I think about that day, I'm like, how do I recreate that day every day going forward? We did amazing, bottom line wise. We collected just in receipts that day, $8,000. That doesn't include the insurance reimbursements, all the other stuff that's going to come with the medical visits that we did. So that's a profitable day. I was happy. My staff had power. We delegated. And guess what? We still had issues. They came up, but they didn't come to me, right? Because I delegated. I focused on what I needed to. Now, again, the day ended, and I had to start thinking about, okay, how do we develop the weak parts of our team? How do we develop our culture? I think our care for patients is good. I don't think our office culture is great. All right, those are problems that I want to deal with. So your office has problems. That's a good thing. Make sure you have systems in place that you can delegate. That'll allow you to be a better doctor, have a better office, be happy when you go to bed. All right, now if you want more guidance on how to do this, we have an earlier series. The podcast is not going to, the podcast will have them. The YouTube channel does not have them yet. We may recreate them, but the CEO Mindset series, tune into that. That is a great outlining of what you need to focus on in your business and then what to delegate. Okay? CEO Mindset series, when you're seeing patients in your day-to-day 9 to 5, you're the doctor in the office. When you stop seeing patients, you have to flip that switch and work on your office, not in it. You need to be the CEO, set time aside. That's what I do in my office. It's been very successful. We'll have more for you next week. All right, my friends, a little office talk. So this last weekend, I was able to go to a Michigan College of Optometry event. It was MOPSA. I don't know why they called them MOPSA. MCO Private Practice Club is what I will call them. And essentially they had a couple presentations, keynote speakers, and then we got to mingle with future doctors that are first through fourth years, but a lot of third years were there that are looking to graduate next year and go into private practice. Hello, if you're from Michigan, if you're from anywhere, you're a future doctor, you're a student, reach out. I want to hire you, okay? Caveat, you have to love ocular surface disease and dry eye, please. You'll know why, we'll talk about that later. That being said, it was really cool to see how far I've come. All right. I remember being in their seats, having people talk about P&Ls, marketing, what you should do here and there, and it just being so stinking overwhelming. A girl asked, hey, we're students. How do we learn more about this stuff? What can we do? The presenter, I thought, gave a horrible answer. F answer. Actually, I'll give it a D+, because it actually was good, but it's not going to help the student. He's like, find a local office and get a job there. And she's like, okay. He's like, experience will always, give you more than anything you can read. Great, sir. You realize that I'm a third-year student trying to pass boards and about to go on externships, but I'll get a job at an office. Doesn't seem very feasible. I walked up to the student afterwards. It's like, hey, my name is Dr. Lily Nick. Great question. Optometric management, great resource. Review of optometry, great resource. Those are things you can read to get better clinically. Optometric management does have a lot of practice management stuff. I let her know about the podcast that we have. I love to talk about this. So if you're a student and you want to know information, you want some of this, remember, I do coaching. I talk to a lot of my colleagues, friends that are trying to start practices. I'd love to talk this. If you're a student, hit me up. Let me know. What do you want to know? We can just chat. Then there may be a student mastermind group. I don't know. That'd be fun. But if you want to talk, let me know. Now, a couple of things I took from that. One of the keynote speakers did talk about, gave a scenario. And he said, if you increase top line revenue by 20%, or you cut cost of goods sold, COGS, by 20%, which one is going to translate more to bottom line revenue? And I forget the numbers he used, but he used the same, like you just had your COGS being what they are, and essentially $6,000 went to the bottom line. You increase revenue, COGS are the same, and you increase the bottom line by $14,000. So $6,000 to $14,000. It was a huge difference. And that goes back to the thing that I've always been told. You can't save your way to wealth. You can't save your way to a profitable practice. You need to increase revenue. All right. That being said, they did mention incremental revenue should not be neglected. It's not like you need a ton more patients coming in. If you can just increase the net sales of each patient, the revenue per exam by $20 to $50, you're going to make a kill. Case in point, we increased our just accessory sales from last year to this year from $17 to $24. That's our average for year to date. That translates to a net profit of about $25,000 more collected in top line revenue. And that's making a huge difference in my revenue per patient, my bottom line. So what I'm saying is, it doesn't have to be huge, just little things that you can do. What can you give them? Supplements, over-the-counter things. Those are things you should be looking to add to your practice. Now, because I saw that difference, I've been looking into a lot of the the great practice. I don't know if I'm great at this point. I want to be better. I want to be like the offices I'm talking about. They have wellness exams. So you come in, they'll do photos, OCT, visual field, myography, and for a package fee, you get all of that, and then they do the exam. Now, if they find something, they're going to have you come back for a medical exam and bill that medically. What the great thing about that is, that's increasing your revenue per exam. So that's been a huge focus for what I'm trying to do going forward, because I've seen it already in my back end when I check them out. How about my front end? And that gives value to you as a clinician, value to your exam. You want people that appreciate that. You want to get more medical. You want to follow the medical model. That's a step in the right direction. So those are things that I took. That's one thing I took from there is increase my top line revenue. Incremental changes are good. And the second thing I took away is a lot of doctors out there are going through the motions, right? They're talking about all these same things. They're talking about COGS, cost of goods sold, the revenue, your percentage doctors pay, like all the percentages on your P&L, breaking that down. But I don't think a lot of people are actually following through, okay? When the speaker was talking, he laid out all the numbers. Yes, this is the percentage you want to be, this and that. One of the key examples, he's like, 5% of what you should do of your top line revenue should go to marketing. He goes, every practice I go to, you know what it actually is? Is zero. Bupkis. Nothing. Right? You making a Facebook post is not marketing. All right? SEO, Google Ads, billboards, mailers. These things are marketing that you need to be aware of. Okay? And then I'm talking to the other doctors. One of the greatest pieces of advice that I've ever been given is you can't be everything to everyone. You need to know what you're going to take and what you're not going to take. Another doctor there, I was like, I take everything. We can do everything. I'm like, cool. Good for you, man. I hope that works. But don't think you're the exception. These things are told, they're talked about, they're put out there for a reason because they're real. If you think you are the exception, you're the one doctor that can do all the things that people say not to, you're probably wrong and you're lying to yourself. All right? So there's a ton of information out there, a ton of resources, and we all think that we're above average. We do. We're not. Okay? Look at your numbers, look at this information out there, and do a really hard deep dive into what you're doing at your office. And I guarantee you, you'll find 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You'd be surprised how many things you find that you could be better at. Pick 1, 2, or 3 of them and focus on that for the next year. I'd say 1 or 2. Probably 1 is going to be the best, but find these numbers, find a way to be better. That's how you're going to set yourself apart. That's how you're going to grow your practice. Tune in. We'll have more for you next week. Where has the time gone? We're to the closing thought of the episode, and this is what I'll leave you with. All right, this is I thought was actually pretty interesting. When you're reading, all right, I'm always going to be a big advocate of reading. Okay, I count audiobooks as reading because, well, that's how I read. Tons of books consumed. I love the ability to work out when I'm consuming that knowledge. But what I heard was you read nonfiction to raise your floor, and you read fiction to raise your ceiling. All right, let's break that down a little bit. Nonfiction is going to give you the fundamentals, the basics, everything you need to be a good business owner, a good clinician. You know, I like to say the bare minimum you need to be successful. Going to raise that up and just bring you to another level. However, to be a visionary, to have an amazing office, to do things outside the box, you have to have those creative juices that flow. You need to read things that aren't necessarily conforming to the world that we live in. If you want to do something different, you have to do something that you've never done before, right? You can't really foster that growth mindset, that creativity that you need without filling it with some kind of fuel. Fiction is that fuel, my friends. Now, I think I could be a lot better about getting that aspect into my life, but I have been watching a couple TV shows that are business related, and I think that is my version of fiction. I see these characters, the archetypes, if you will. I said, I want to be that guy. That's how I'm going to run my office. All right, Billions. All right, I'm watching Billions. But fiction has a place in our lives. Don't be so obtuse, so in a box that all you can read is nonfiction or all you consume is nonfiction. Fiction has a place. Nonfiction also does as well. Have a combination of both. I'm probably 80-15. I'm probably 85-15. However, I do have some of each. You try it yourself. That's what I have for you. Dr. Lily out.